Hello, welcome back. I'm Tonya from Tonya's Witchy Kitchen, and how are you doing today? I'm okay. Yesterday was a rough day. We had one of our little goats go into labor with, number one, goats are not as hardy as cows are. Number two, I don't know, I'm not sure if my husband knew when she actually started going into labor. But he noticed it in the morning, and then, moved her into the garage, gave her this little straw bed, this little area, like he always does, but she wasn't proceeding and things weren't happening. And then, but basically she had twins, and one died and the other one came out okay, which, we've had happen before. But the problem is she wasn't getting up afterwards for the baby to feed. They're not like dogs or cats where they lay down, and then the babies just nuzzle up and feed. And she did that a little bit for the baby, but their natural tendency is to stand up. And she couldn't stand up, and she was trying to stand up. Well, then, I don't know, about 4 o'clock in the morning, she was really noisy. And my husband said, he goes, well, her baby died last night. And I'm like, what? I said it was fine. And he says, well, she laid on it. I don't honestly think she laid on it. I think she honestly was trying to get up again, because they think she did that, like she got up because she would be moved, but I guess she landed on it and it died. And she didn't make it this morning either. So I'm laying there at like 4 o'clock in the morning thinking about this mom and how determined she was, but yet it kind of backfired. And I started thinking about us as parents, and what do we do that we think is for the best of our children, but in the end we crush them, kind of like we crush them in spirit. We crush their spirit, we crush their determination, we crush that dream or that wish they have unintentionally. We have our children's best interest in mind, but by doing something we crush them. I kind of think of my this isn't a really major one, but I think of the first year my son started bull riding. Okay, and it was it after his first rodeo? I think it was after his first rodeo, or right before the first one. And the director told him that, because there were a lot of kids, there was like 20 kids, and they're like, yeah, the first rodeo of the year, they always start out with like 20 to 30, and then it goes down to like 5, 6. And he was like, oh, this is great. He goes, maybe I'll go to nationals. And I'm like, let's just get a ride in so you can make it to state, right? Well, it was not a typical year, because we ended up with like 24 kids that whole year. To make it to state, all you had to do was ride. Not for other events, but for the bull riding, there was only 24 kids. So if they all rode a qualified 8-second ride, they all went to state. And there were quite a few that went to state. But he made it to state, but he also made it to nationals. Woohoo! That was a surprise. Yeah, but but if I would have said, oh God, you'll never make it to nationals, that would have crushed his spirit. But that's just a basic, simple one. But what else do we do that we crush our kids in thinking we're protecting them or doing what's best for them? On the radio, there is this teen, oh, I can't remember what it's called. Oh, damn it. Raising good teens, raising something about that, raising teens. There's a website, and there's all these, information on raising teens. And his thing was, when you're disciplining a child, you don't want to crush them. Like, don't dwell on the negative part of it. Don't always dwell on the negative. You got to have some positive, but don't sacrifice your relationship with your child just because of how you discipline them. And I think that's a big thing that does happen. We don't always see it because, families cover up so much. We're all perfect families at Christmas Smile for the picture. But yeah, we're not. Nobody is. Well, there's probably a few. But, the typical family, we have messy houses. We have, and we all have, we don't, you get a manual for a tractor. You get an owner's manual. You get an owner's manual for your vehicle. You get an owner's manual for the dang vacuum cleaner. But boy, when you go home from the hospital with that little baby, you don't get squat. Except a box of diapers and Johnson's baby shampoo. You don't get no instructions. You don't get nothing. So what do? You basically lapse into how your parents did it. And if your parents are good, then you're lucky. And then sometimes there's just other things that change us and form us, and we do things differently. And yeah, so I don't know, that was that was my 4 o'clock wake up call this morning. Yeah, but I don't know. So I really was thinking about this, like, what do I do in the thought process of being a good parent and doing what's best for my child, and I crush them. You should think about that. We should all think about that. This was a tough topic. But anyway, I didn't look ahead to see what the next video was that's supposed to come out. So I can't even tell you what we're doing today. I'm sorry, but you'll be surprised. Well, you probably know because you see the little thumbnail, but whatever. So anyway, 3 things. Dream big. Be true to you. You are worth it. And so are your kids. Let's go check out this unknown video. Okay, and we are doing MSM and magnesium lotion. I'd been messing around because I needed a second magnesium lotion that didn't involve the herbal side of things, my dandelion lotion. So I decided to do this one, but I had some additives I wanted to change up compared to the dandelion lotion, right? So I have 2 types of sodium actually, and this one is your basic magnesium sulfate, and this one is magnesium chloride. Both of these are good for muscles and that type of thing. I'll go into more of that later. But first I'm going to dissolve my salts into my, I think this is distilled water. Yes, this gets dissolved into the distilled water. And it takes a bit. But anyway, and the MSM powder stands for methyl sulfonyl methane. And so what the MSM is it's a sulfur compound that's present in fruits, vegetables, grains, animal products, and algae. You see a lot of ocean sulfur where it's split, it's MSM and it's DMSO. These sulfur compounds are also found in the body, in all body cells, and you need them. You basically need them. Its role is to help the body sulfur cycle to create the chemical links needed to form and maintain numerous different types of structural tissues in the human body, including the connective tissues such as, the cartilage and the skin, etc. We used to give it to my horse when he was really old. And I think my son, he buys the senior feed for his horse. And it contains that because it's just, you get old, you get achy, And yeah, I don't know. I never took it myself. We always gave it to the horse. Lucky horse. Okay, enough about that. Okay, so we are going into the cream itself, the lotion, and I am using coconut oil. Specifically chose these for properties that help with muscles and aches and pains. Seriously. So we went with coconut oil, and then I am doing castor oil. You cannot do enough castor oil, even by itself. But it would make a very sticky lotion if this was 100% castor oil. Well, I think it would. That would be a great test, wouldn't it? Let's just check out how much castor we can put into lotion. The next oil is evening primrose oil, which I know was a little odd, and I did more research on these oils, and I was like, yeah, like it's crazy. I didn't write it down. Sorry. You have to do your own research. But evening primrose oil. And then the last oil in this is argan oil, which is great for skin, for hair, for, beautiful oil. There's nothing else you can say with it. And next we are adding some emulsifying wax NF. I can't remember the specifications, but it's emulsifying wax. There's so many different kinds out there. I try and keep it to the most basic type I can find. Not one that's, there's silky smooth, there's beard ones, there's hair ones, there's, I just like to keep to the basic. And then some stearic acid for its non-saponification properties. Okay, so here's my distilled water with my magnesium chloride and my magnesium sulfate. It is totally dissolved. See that? To this, I am going to add some aloe vera juice. Okay. I think it's, if you want the recipe, just tell me and I'll put it in the description box. If you want it. You can formulate your own. It's not that hard. And so to the aloe vera juice and the salt blends and the water, this is my MSM powder that I am adding at about 5%. Okay? You can add MSM anywhere from 1 to 20%. But being I have already got the magnesium chloride and the magnesium sulfate in here, I went with a good solid 5%. I don't think it could have held any more. It was pretty crazy. Yeah, you just, you can test it if you want, how you want to do it. But next is the blending stage. I am going to say just make sure that you have everything dissolved and that both your liquids are the same temperature. Seriously, the same temperature. Like if you're going to aim for around 150, aim for 150. If you're aiming higher, just make sure they're roughly the same temperature. That is seriously the key to lotion making. Believe me, I know this. And the second key is to blend. That this first emulsion, I blend it for at least 2 minutes every time. Solid. And if it's a bigger batch, I actually blend it a little bit longer just to make sure. If you want to put it in an ice bath to bring those temperatures down faster, that's fine. But don't do it until after you have that first emulsion complete. Okay? Like your cool down phase, right? You have your oil phase, your water phase, your mixed phase. No, I don't know. Hey, your cool down phase. The cool down phase is where we add all of our extra ingredients. So here I'm going to add my arrowroot powder. Sometimes I'll add that and then I'll just blend another minute. We'll see what I do. I can't remember. I did blend another minute. Yep, that's me. And next is the preservative. Make sure your lotion concoction is low enough temperature-wise for your preservative. You don't want to kill your preservative off right away because it's too high for it to handle, And if it says 176, don't do it at 175. Just be smart and, take your temp down. It's like, why would you push the buttons on that one? But anyway, yep, I use Optifen Plus for my lotions. I do use GeoGuard Ultra too also. Just depends what I'm doing and how I feel. I like them both. But then I blend another minute with the preservative. Last but not least are the oils for this. And being it's such a massive one aimed at muscles and all these things, you know, aches, pains. I am adding peppermint and cypress at about 1% dosage, equal parts, because they both have such amazing properties for muscles and pain, and it's just, you know, amazing. I was showing you the pH of it, and, you know, before I put the, you know, the base of the lotion, definitely solid, straight, right on at that 5 to 6 pH. And look at this beautiful cream that I ended up with. It did take a little bit for me to get to this. I had to like let it set and blend, but don't ask me why. I just think there was a lot of stuff in here. And sometimes my lotion, when I start blending it, it's at a higher temp, like 170. So then it takes longer to get down, you know, to that stage where it makes the nice, beautiful, creamy lotion. Woohoo, look at that sun. We've actually been having sun lately, so that's been great. And to package these, I don't put them in a squeeze bottle. Not yet. It is very nice and thick, but I really believe that, you know, I just like jars, you guys. My squeeze bottles, the Malibu, are so cute, and they do work well because the lotion just falls down, you know, like a toothpaste tube. But some things I just think you need to be able to dip your fingers in. I know that's kind of bad, but that's what the preservative is for, right? Partially. But yeah, I think this came to like 4 or 5 ounces in the 4-ounce volume container, and that's how I packaged them. And as for the magnesium chloride and the magnesium sulfate, so the sulfate is good for muscle relaxation and calming, great for kids who don't like oral supplements, okay? The chloride, sodium chloride, is in salt form. You can apply it liquid or topical. It's for relaxation of muscles, for skin, for calming, just for general overall use. For a great magnesium. And that's really all there is to our MSM magnesium cream lotion. I didn't even label it. Oh my gosh, that's funny. But anyway, I hope you had a good time. Thank you for dropping by, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.